Okay? A wheel that locks up during braking has more friction to the road than a rolling. Wow. You good. Good. The reason why you lock up is because you have less friction. You good? Friction is the one that stops the vehicle, right? Correct? But he's good.
This mechanic.
If the weight of the car double, connect you with double. What happened to speed? Double. Weight transfer during braking is caused by inertia, right? Inertia. Okay. Here we go. Typical hanging brake pedal is a second class lever. Okay, hanging brake pedal. One method engineers obtain a proper front to rear brake balance is to vary the size of the caliper.
As bullshit.
Good. Does that make any sense? Okay, they play around with the size of the caliper and the wheel cylinder pistons. You guys good? Energy, the ability to do the work. You good? The rubber in most brake will show is exposed to engine oil, right? You can tell, right, when it smells? When cleaning hydraulic brake parts, use. What the fuck do you use? Your piss?
Yo, I don't.
Go ahead, don't worry about it. I've heard enough. Brakes that drag or fail to release can be caused by a leaking primary car.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, right? Oh, by the way, just so you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. You guys are gonna have the majority of the questions in brakes. Okay, so this is basically 4. The tools ones you guys have been doing really well. They only have like 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. But the brakes, they're gonna load this thing up front.
What's the most question there?
Brakes and steering, suspension.
How about the electrical one?
Electrical.
Huh?
Electrical.
I studied that.
It's not gonna be as much as these ones. How's that?
Ah shit, I studied for that.
Okay, let's go.
You study?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro.
Okay, let's go.
For 1 minute.
You got this. You're
Drag,
That's
fail.
fine. Got 2.
Plug compensating point. You good? How many high pressure lip seals are there in a typical master cylinder? 3. Ones that face this way, and faces that way. Self-applied the brakes can occur if, good, and see, you know this one. Oh, obviously you must have guessed,
no.
okay? If the brake pedal linkage is not just a proper brake fluid may not be able to expand backwards or through the what? Oh, please.
50-50.
Master cylinder cover must be vented to allow fluid to escape when the heat's up. What do you think?
No.
Create a vacuum.
Huh? Prevent to create a vacuum, allow air to enter, right? So they can avoid creating a vacuum. The master cylinder is not equipped with a transfer port. Good, you read that. Which is not
Do you put it together?
a type, take up single pistons. Remember, they're all dual pistons. A Valtech control. Good. This is the one that you guys gonna have to pay. Remember I told you, I asked you guys, you guys better make sure you guys know the names for these 1 and 2. Do you remember what I talked about? When your brakes is in the what? Stationary position, it has to be between the 2. Does that make any sense? Okay. Okay. Are they bring apply? Correct? What's this one called? Huh?
Quick take up all. Oh, I fucking guessed it. Shit, huh? That's smart.
Go. Panic situation.
Portion involved.
Huh?
Fucking smart, man.
Residual check valve. Residual check valve.
Anti-lock.
Hmm?
Or use on anti-lock brakes.
I use only on anti-lock brakes?
Or do not keep air out of the brake lines.
Maybe.
Under the tubing seat.
Oh.
What is it for? It's for, this is for wheel cylinders. When brakes are lightly at low speed, what type of valve keeps the front brakes from locking?
Metering valve.
The pressure, because the limit pressure of rear brakes is called
The limit.
pressure limit.
Limit point.
Huh?
Is it a limit point?
Yeah, slips.
Oh, fuck.
When pressure bleeding is this system, the valve must be held open. Which one?
Propulsion.
Metering.
Do you guys understand it a little bit? Huh? When you do some reading tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Percentage of
At the rear brakes is called a slope. Pressure differential switch. What is it? Pressure differential switch. Differential.
2 piston.
This is when something failed now, right?
Maybe the rear side.
Right. Recenter. Differential between front and rear, right? Divisions that include A and B. Testing a board gauge that reads a maximum of 2000 psi. That's a residual check valve. Residual check valve. Okay, this is if you have what? Wheel cylinder, right? Residual check valve. That's a proportioning valve. I don't know if you guys can see this. So this one here moves back and forth, proportioning valve. Remember, I spent some time to ask you, put down the valve, what does it do? Remember that one there?
Yeah, like the fire rate.
Yeah, make sure you kind of read through that a little bit. There's gonna be tons of questions on that stuff, okay? This one is metering valve now, right? Metering valve. This, you guys okay, front rear split? We talk about which one do you bleed first, right? Yeah.
Wouldn't you wanna do it furthest away from the ABS?
Huh?
Furthest away from the ABS? and
Nah,
then-
do this for the
Farthest from the master cylinder.
right rear, left rear, right front.
It's always like that, farthest from the
Oh.
master cylinder. Why shouldn't a service tech depress the brake pedal all the way down when you're bleeding the brakes?
Silly.
The seal cup can be damaged.
200 IQ.
No, like you.
Why should the bleeder be open before pushing the caliper back in the piston bore? To get rid of any trapped air? The answer is,
To get rid of any trapped there, man. I don't know.
in the overall bleeding, which part should be left first? Master cylinder, and the rest? Vacuum bleeding. Vacuum bleeding. Hmm? When we talk about the pump, the handheld one? Gravity bleeding. Gravity, can you tell me what gravity bleeding is? Jack the vehicle up, you put fluid in the master cylinder, and you release the bleeder screws, and it'll come out. Pressure bleeding. What's he doing?
This
Bleeding.
What type of bleeding, sir?
The master cylinder.
What type of bleeding?
What's the called? The
Vacuum.
Vacuum.
Vacuum, that's a vacuum pump.
Yo, I was about to say that. Why the fuck you said that, though?
What?
Why you thinking that?
Done.
He
Finished.
said- he said that.
Okay, cool. That's one.
Raheem, so far you're doing really good right now.
Thank you. Means a lot, you know?
You know something, since we don't have much time, we have to go right to the final exam now, okay? So we did the bricks already. Is that bricks final? Right here. Oh, good job, 63. Hey, that's that's great, that's better than 50.
Thank you.
Okay, go. Let's go right to the final. Effects the booster, go. Very good. A high pedal when you're braking. The labyrinth seal keeps the water away, so somebody pay attention. Okay, labyrinth seal. I did teach you something, I hope?
Yep.
Good. Air, spongy, right? Good. We can skip that one, right? Air, also a little spongy. All the following can cause brake system drag except, okay? Except internal master cylinder leak. Good. Internal master cylinder leak. All of the following can turn on the red light except a defective stop lamp switch. If you have, okay? If you have a defective stop lamp switch, it won't turn it on, right? Correct? Good job. All the following read except finish pressure, brake squeal, loose brake hardware. You good? When the caliper has been removed from its mounting bracket, the piston is held in its bore by
Fucking smart, man. Fucking genius.
this brake rotor too thin cannot be handled as we'll experience a brake fade-in, right? Especially excessive disc brake rotor thickness variation will cause brake pulsation. Isn't it why, that's why you use measuring the parallelism? Okay. Outside diameter, right? Brake line? That was a review one, was that? Which is statement is true? ISO and SAE. ISO and SAE. Pipe cutter. Except the user mount, that was a review, right? We had that before. Flare nut wrench. Flare nut wrench. How many steps to make an ISO? Huh? One. No, he had to do it twice.
No.
The first one he effed up.
I thought you did.
I got
He
confused.
skips it.
I got confused, you know?
When making a double flare,
When making
holy cow, you should turn the double flare button over and repeat it. Wow.
Wow.
You should you can reinstall the line back. Wow, okay.
That's smart.
Which of the following methods should be used to retract the piston? Special tool provided by manufacturer, that's the best one, okay? Even though you have used all of them before, but the best answer is use the special tool provided by the manufacturer. Or the function of the rotor key, correct? Simple one. Disc brake, self-cleaning. Prevent damage to flex hose. Good. Road test, check D, all of that. So overall, the simple ones, the procedure, you're pretty good. I think when it comes to the detail stuff, that you kind of slacked in there a little bit. Okay. You need to get the vehicle to operating temperature. Oh, good. Well, at least you can do math.
My girlfriend Google hooked me up.
What's the purpose of performing a scratch test? to determine if the rotor is serviceable. Is it why we use a micrometer to measure the thickness? So what's your second answer now? Go.
Test rotor hardness.
Huh?
I'm joking. To verify progress. Mounting on the leg.
Yeah, mounting, yeah, good. Linings that have a higher coefficient. That's a good one, eh? Higher coefficient of friction. Mounting. So you guys know that you guys do not mount the drum in the head, right? If the handbrake section wears out, correct? Did you guys know that in the perfect world, you know, in the drum, do you know what I'm talking about the drum in the hat? Do you know what I'm talking about drum in the hat? Fuck, it's 11:32.
What's it called?
When you use a regular caliper, how do you lock up the rear rotor?
E-brake.
Yeah, using an e-brake, but how does it work?
With a
If,
cable.
if that's just a regular caliper.
Yeah, okay.
So inside the rotor, you have a drum in there. This is what I'm teaching, like a palm.
Oh, you're talking about the.
So it's like disc brake.
This is the rotor.
Time.
Yeah,
It's
it's
actually
drums.
got a drum. Let's call it drum in the hat, they call it. So this drum here is not meant to wear out. The only reason for it to wear out, what causes it to wear out?
If you don't shake.
People drive around with what?
The e-brake on.
Handbrakes on. Does that make any sense? That's why this thing here is not meant to be machined. If you drive correctly, you know the brake pads in here, should it be worn out? It should be brand new. Correct? For the duration of it. Because all you do when the car stops, you put what?
Handbrake.
Handbrake, this one comes out, locks it. Does that make any sense? Yeah. You good? Good job. Okay. Does not function. Excessive pedal, right? Okay, yes, okay. Vacuum and hydraulic. As a brake booster, we have two types. Out of these two, which is the most common? Vacuum. Vacuum booster is the most common. Is it okay? You know about that. What's the name for the hydraulic brake booster? What do we call it? What do we call this one? Called hydro boost, right? Hydro boost. Remember I showed you the animator thing about how the vacuum port and X-ray port? You need to study that. I can't be teaching it, I just don't have the time to teach it. Yeah? Disc brake pads one more than another. One disc brake pad is one more than another. The likely cause could be caliper that needs servicing. Does that make any sense? Stuck? You know, I need to finish the whole thing. I'm just gonna go, I'm assuming that when you got the right ones, you're paying attention. I'll go to the one that he's wrong, okay? Because I can't go, I have to get this thing done by 12. That way I'll give you an hour and a half to mount your engine back. Okay, good. Drum brake shoes made out of steel. The brake shoe is steel, does that make any sense? But the drum is made out of what? Cast iron. Brake servo. Brake servo. You good? I'll let you read it. The purpose of the servo is so that the primary can help the secondary. Remember servo? Servo? Where's the anchor pin? On a servo, huh? Top. Good. Compressed air, dangerous to the health. Disc brake needs. What?
That was bullshit.
Much higher pressure to operate because the correct? Because of the surface area, right? Brake pads, brake shoe, does that make any sense? And because of that, we need a power booster. You good? So when you get it right, I'm gonna speed it up, okay? You just have to go review those valves, okay? Okay, review those valves. Let's create a greater power brakes, greater force. The backing plate support basically all of them. Does that make any sense? Okay. Brake pedal. I'm just gonna go through the stuff that he got wrong. Proportioning valve. Again, these are all proportioning valve, okay? I want you guys to go through this yourself. Because I need to go to suspension too as well, gentlemen. Major components. Attached to the firewall, so vacuum check valve is used to provide vacuum when the engines turn off. Does that make any sense? You good? When the engine is turned off, like for example, when the car stalls, does that make any sense? How many pump does it give you? 1 and a bit, right? Okay, 1 and a bit. Vacuum booster is actuated and operated by what? Control valve. Okay, brake pedal, brake pedal controls it. The vapor lock fluid boils. The vacuum brake control booster on a electronic fuel injection power pack. It power system from where? Huh? Engine intake manifold. It generates the vacuum. Brake line made out of steel, good. Moisture. Isn't it tied to road friction? Okay. The handbrake should be adjusted when it won't hold the car. Okay? After adjusting the rear drum brake then, right? But like I say, right, if it's done properly, should you ever have to adjust the handbrake? You shouldn't, yeah. Is this the one with tons of questions?
Yeah. I think the 180.
Huh?
180 questions.
How many?
180.
I mean, not bad, 60% for 180 questions.
This is the 180.
Sure.
Let me take a look how many. I don't know if I can go through all of these things here.
Wait, are we?
196. Some like the same thing. Let's say throughout.
Some of them repeat?
Yeah.
Okay, then forget it, okay. Okay, so let's go. So you guys okay on the brakes? So now let's go to the big one, suspensions and steering, and then we're done.